You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters, we're going to talk about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers now. In case you did not realize this, Tampa Bay was picked to be like one of the 3 worst teams in all of football before the season started. They signed Baker Mayfield, which it seemed like so many people decided to just write off, and I was sitting back going, are we sure about that? Because he was kind of solid with the L.A. Rams. Are we sure that Baker's just going to get down there with Chris Godwin and Mike Evans and do nothing? Is that what we think is going to happen? Now, I understand the Tampa Bay Bucs have struggled a little bit, offensive line, and when you get past those 2 weapons, well, they've got no running game. Still, the same team that could not get a running game going for Tom Brady can't get one going for Baker Mayfield. But nonetheless, if you have not been paying attention, Baker Mayfield's had a really solid season for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And there's been a comparison made to a very high-profile draft pick by the name of Trevor Lawrence. And Trevor Lawrence's statistical play this year versus Baker's, and, well, Baker's having a better season than Trevor Lawrence, which is pretty surprising, okay? Now, Jacksonville's got more weapons. There's no doubt about it. ETN down there. We got Calvin Ridley down there. I mean, at least the wide receivers are more comparable, but, you know, there's more of a running game down in Jacksonville. Their defense, you could say, is better. And, of course, they ran into a hard one of the best teams in the league with the 49ers and got blasted this last weekend. But nonetheless, Baker has got himself playing towards getting another contract. Okay, the guy that people thought was just going to be a one-year stopgap may end up getting re-signed. And, you know, that makes us think about this earlier today. Browns announced season-ending shoulder injury for Deshaun Watson. This was the guy that the Browns had. He was their quarterback, and he's played his guts out. Look, they lost a game against the Bills a couple of weeks ago, and it wasn't Baker Mayfield's fault that they lost that game. He played his guts out. He played his guts out against the Houston Texans, dropped the game by 2 points because C.J. Stroud looks like the second coming of Tom Brady all of a sudden as a rookie. But these games aren't going down by way of Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield is keeping the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in these NFL games week in and week out with a chance to win. When the Bucs signed, this is JoeBucksFan.com, good site if you're a Buccaneers person. When the Bucs signed Baker Mayfield to succeed Tom Brady, Peter King of NBC Sports got Bucs fans all bent out of shape when he referred to Mayfield as, quote, a bridge quarterback, meaning the next quarterback isn't on the team's roster but will be soon. Yesterday, Albert Breer, Bert Breer, as many of you know him, of SI.com, who succeeded King with his Monday morning NFL quarterback column on the site, referred to Mayfield as, quote, a bridge quarterback. And Breer added, the bridge may lead Mayfield to re-upping with the Buccaneers as the team's starting quarterback next year. Quote, Baker Mayfield's performance last week against the Texans was overshadowed justifiably by Stroud. But he played really well in that game, and he was good again as the Bucs pulled to win within a half game of first in the mediocre, to say the least, NFC South. He's made some money for himself this year and would seem to be the ideal bridge quarterback for somebody, maybe even the team he's playing for now in 2024. Look, the thought process was they were going to be in play for a bottom 3 pick, and that's not going to happen, okay? This Bucs team is too good. They're going to be competitive. They may win this division. The Buccaneers could see Tom Brady retire and make it to the playoffs, folks. That's an actual thing that could happen right now. Joe came across something that showed up on Joe Buck's Twitter feed yesterday that really caught his eye. Consider the numbers between Trevor Lawrence and Baker Mayfield. Passing yards, 2,120 yards for Trevor Lawrence. Passing TDs, 9. And 6 picks for Lawrence. Baker, 2,143 yards. He's got more yards. 14 touchdowns and 5 picks. Mayfield is having a better season than Trevor Lawrence. Clearly, Mayfield is on pace for his best season for passing yards in his career and for his best touchdown to interception ratio since he led the Browns to the playoffs in 2020. Trent Green, by the way, of CBS, came out and made some comments about Mayfield as well.
But they were able to get the win this past Sunday, and how he's been able to perform. He's got the best completion percentage of his entire career. He's on pace for the most yards and the most touchdown passes that he's had in his career. So he's playing well. They're only a half game out of first place. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they need to play some better defense. They didn't play good defense 2 weeks ago in that comeback win against the Houston Texans, but they came up big in this game. The defense played very well, and as you can see, Baker Mayfield played very well.
Yeah, Baker continues to play well. This is PFF. He's 16th in the league in passing yards. He's 12th in touchdowns, and he's way back at 22nd in interceptions. So Baker's having a good year for this Tampa Bay Bucs squad, and there's no disputing that right now. And the one thing Baker Mayfield continues to do, and I've got Baker's games up here. The fact is, Baker Mayfield was a Hail Mary away from tying this Buffalo game up in Buffalo. This was a couple of weeks ago. He played his guts out in that game. He really did. He was all over the place. Baker's dropped a little weight, got a little thinner, and he's actually running around, scrambling pretty good, and throwing very good on the run this year. So we're looking at a quarterback that in his last 3 games has 6 touchdowns and 1 interception. Baker Mayfield's playing really well. In the last 2 games, got a 9.6 yards per attempt, 8.8. And, I think about this. Baker Mayfield was playing, he was playing hurt for the Browns, and they opted to move off of him, and this quarterback was very beloved. And Buccaneers fans have now sort of wrapped their arms around Baker Mayfield. And don't look now, Todd Bowles got a little something working on defense all of a sudden. Okay, he got all the defense into a room and sort of had a come to Jesus moment with all of them, including Devin White, who has underperformed ever since that unbelievable Super Bowl run he had. But he called him out. He called a bunch of the guys out on defense. And if you look, in fact, I've got it pulled up here. If you take a look at their schedule, Buccaneers have winnable games all over the place. Now, they got the Niners in San Francisco this weekend. Buccaneers most likely aren't winning that game, okay? So they're going to be 4-6. But then they're going to have a run of games, folks. Potential win, Colts. Potential win, Buccaneers. Potential win, Falcons. Potential win, Packers. Jaguars, I think they could give the Jaguars absolute fits. And then comes the Saints. That's in Tampa Bay. And then finishing the year with Carolina. So you're talking 4-6, 5-6, 6-6. All right, 7-6, 8-6. Let's call it 8-7. These last 2 games of the year become very big, but I'm going to tell you, there's a world where the Buccaneers absolutely win 9 games, and if they can pull either this Jags game or this Saints game, and I think this Saints game in Tampa Bay right here, December 31st, I think that game is for the NFC South division title. And Baker Mayfield's one of the reasons. And this team is not, if they're going to draft a quarterback, it's going to be J.J. McCarthy, Bo Nix. They're going to have to draft up towards the 20s or later. Okay? This team is too good. They likely will not have a top 10 pick, probably not a top 15 pick in this upcoming draft. And they may re-sign Baker Mayfield. So I wanted to talk about Baker. I like to do videos on Baker every now and then just to let everybody know, hey, Baker's still out there. Baker's still kicking ass. Baker would look awfully good in Cleveland with a Super Bowl roster right now. By the way, he led them to their last playoff victory. Their quarterback is out for the year. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.